video today from my friend Vin Ark. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. See that? Ciao. Just want to give a shout out to my friend Kevin Parkinson. This is his channel. He came to do an interview with me on my other channel. That interview will be out on my other channel, ChowTime 2.0. It's about a 2-hour interview, just pretty much what the man lived through.
Let's just keep it a buck. Be very careful who you had kids with, man.
He ain't wrong.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Kevin Parkinson here, back for another episode of Fathers Win. Fathers Win is a YouTube series where we go over court cases where there's a good chance the dad wins or the dad gets what he's looking for inside a family court. Now, of course, as you guys know, here on TheChowTimePod MP, we don't bash women, we don't hate women, but there is an epidemic of men being run through the ringer in American family court. So
Raked over the coals.
today we're going all the way to Kansas, and we're going to take a look at what's going on inside this family court case. As you guys know, I am not a lawyer. I'm not a paralegal at all. It's just that with years and years of experience dealing with family court drama of my own, I have acquired a lot of information, and I like being able to give you guys a play-by-play of what's going on and what you're looking at. So if you are a dad who's getting ready to go into court, coming out of court,
a lot of single fathers that are definitely going through the ringer right now, going through the courts, I would suggest maybe watching more of his videos and stuff, because he's probably going to give you some tips and tricks. And I'm not saying these are legal advices any way, shape, or form, because you will need a lawyer.
getting ready to start court, these videos are for you. These videos are for you. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with the first video. If you're here for the first time, hit that subscribe button. I am a father, a husband, a college professor, a filmmaker, and a father's rights activist. You
Damn
are
right.
here now with Vinark MP. All right, guys, here we go.
Go ahead, Ms. Park.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name,
Adrian Joe Garcia.
and you go by AJ.
Yes, ma'am.
AJ, how old are you?
So off the rip, both of them have lawyers with them already. Okay, this is going to be an intense battle.
I'm 38 years old.
And where do you reside?
I live in Zurich, Kansas.
And that is in Rooks County.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you, you understand that we're here today to talk about your 3 youngest children, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And who's the mother of those children?
Fallon.
And she is the petitioner in this matter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You and Fallon began your relationship when?
5 years ago, almost 6 years ago.
Okay. AJ, you have a total of 7 children, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Jeez.
Tell the court.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to stop it right there for a very specific reason. I'm sure you guys know what it is that I'm about to talk about. That's a lot of kids, man. That's a lot of kids. Nonetheless, no matter how many children you have, if you are in your kids' lives, you deserve all the opportunity in the world to succeed and to be able to be there. But what we're going to find out later in this video, because I did watch a little bit of this before I queued it up for you guys. Mom met him when he had other children already.
Well, that makes sense.
So to now, later, when their relationship unfortunately doesn't work out, to try and hold that against him or to act like you don't know that he has other obligations and try to get more money from him, that's the cold part of the game, man. That's a cold.
This is the exact same thing as when we get with women and they post Instagram pics and all this stuff and they wear, scantily clad clothes. It's very similar. You got with me knowing that I wear this and do this, but you're trying to change me, or you now all of a sudden you don't like this, or this is a problem. That's the argument. I get it. I can actually somewhat get that argument. Kevin has pretty much put that same argument here with this woman here.
Cold part of the game. All right, let's jump back into this.
And you have a child support order in that case for your older 3 children, correct?
Yes, it was just recently modified.
Okay, and so you were aware of Judge Dries presiding over that case as well?
Yes,
Correct?
yes.
Okay. And in May of 2024, there was a modification of support done in that case in which you're ordered to pay $609 a month for your older 3 children.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so what's going on here is the dad's lawyers doing a really good job of presenting the facts. And one of the facts is, hey, dad already has child support orders with other children. Mom knows that. So it's kind of a double
I gotta say, 600 and something for 6 children isn't that bad. At least I'm just doing my own numbers.
whammy that mom is going out of her way to get more money from this guy. Let's find out if he's in the kids' lives and what he's doing for the kids.
This is for that same period over the first quarter.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
Yes.
So C1 represents your quarterly income and expenses for the first quarter of 2024.
Yes.
And then I'll have you look at C2. This is, well, I guess tell us what this is.
Okay, so what his lawyer is doing is she is presenting the facts of what's called a financial affidavit. So
Okay.
let's say you and your ex-wife or you and your co-parent go to court, and all of a sudden she's asking for child support. The court and the judge is going to mandate in most situations that you provide a financial affidavit. The financial affidavit is going to explain how much money you've made in the last 3 years. Some states it's more. How much money you're currently making. Are you employed? Are you unemployed? Are you self-employed? And do you have money in CDs or Roth IRAs,
So pretty much like a financial audit for you that the judge needs to see all of your assets. Okay.
401k, the stock market? So all of your monies has to be accounted for. And that is going to determine how much child support the court deems fair to take from you and give to the co-parent. But like taxes work, whereas a high value item or an asset or a depreciating item that you bought for a business or to generate income can offset what you owe in taxes, kids can offset what you owe in child support, especially if you aren't delinquent on other child support payments and
Oh, interesting. I did not realize that. All right. Good on you, Kevin, for teaching us a little bit of something something.
you are showing that you're responsible for. So the lawyer's doing a good job right now of making sure the judge understands, hey, my client is not delinquent, he's responsible, and there are other kids involved.
You also were asked some questions about.
Okay, we're gonna run it back because that's the part that I really want you guys to see. The lawyer does a really good job of explaining that father is a stand-up guy and he does help with the care. But notice the way that she's able to get mom to answer these questions.
And is that the same way with your older daughters as far as them helping with the children?
Yes, they will help. They'll go get Everly a cup of milk, or they will hold their brothers and play with them, or stuff like that. But those girls don't change diapers. They don't. Oh, I will say that there are times that the girls are hopping in the shower and Everly will take a shower, or whatever. But as far as the direct care of the children, I do that 100%.
In fact, there was a situation not too long ago with the twins having very severe diaper rash. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
They had diaper rash so bad that we tried to get medication for it, and the medication didn't quite work. So Fallon had a plan, what she would like to see done. And of course I followed that plan. And we had gone to the doctor for this diaper rash before the day before I was to take them for the weekend. Fallon communicated to me kind of what she had been doing, changing their diapers every 2 hours, trying to keep them dry, keeping Aquaphor on them, keeping a barrier there and everything. And I followed the same regimen. The only thing different I did was I soaked them in some oatmeal to help out. And
Okay, so I think it's clear to see here that dad is trying to be a father. He's trying to be involved in his kid's life.
As most men try to do.
And I think the lawyer is doing a great job. And sometimes if you have to represent yourself by yourself, it is so important to stick to the facts. Don't start talking about your personality. Don't start talking about a cold winter night in 2017. Just stick to the facts. Yes, I do provide care. Yes, I do bathe and wash my children. Yes, I do feed my children. Yes, I do help administer medication if they need it. Yes, I
Take these tips in, guys. You don't want to push, add too much words or verbiage in there because the judge is going to just not care for it anyways.
do make sure they go to bed clean. And yes, I make sure they go to bed with a full stomach. And yes, I make sure that they are social. And yes, I make sure that homework is being done. And on weekends, extracurricular activities are being done. And their physical health and their mental health and social health. And even if you go to church, their spiritual health. Like all these things need to be addressed so the judge and so the court understands that you are an active and involved parent. As
Makes
dads,
sense.
it's so easy for us to get lost in the woods of this kind of domestic care and accidentally brush over it and not be very matter of fact of what we do domestically with our children in the home. As fathers, we're
I
so
can agree with
accustomed
this.
to being the people who take the kids out into the world and show them new things. But the court wants to know that they're in a nurtured environment when they're with you, the dad, also. So the lawyer's doing a great job here of showing.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, you want to show that you are a true parent. You are doing the tasks that parents do: bathe, take care of the children, feed them, clothe them, put them to bed, the usual things. Don't just say, "Yeah, they're my kids."
That. But if you are going at this alone, it would beseech you to make sure that you are constantly reaffirming that you are just as domesticated and just as for the child's comfort and stable upbringing as mom is. Let's get back into it.
Um,
Our daughter had a 4-year-old checkup last Friday that I again texted him about on that same day at the beginning of this month to let him know. And he still did not go to the appointment. Actually told me that I should have reminded him to let him know that that was going on because he put it down on the wrong month. And lastly, there was a time we went to the walk-in clinic. My son spiked a high fever and AJ let him know, but he was unable to come to that due to work, not being able to move that around.
This issue about personal property that we've had, have you denied him access to any of the personal property that he has in your house?
No, I have not denied him access. I just don't feel safe with him in the house without the law enforcement present and at black and white what he
Just how they paint the picture of this man is so dangerous. He used to live with me, take care of the kids with me, paid my bills and everything, but all of a sudden now I'm scared in his presence and I don't want him in my home.
wants because he's notorious for switching things up or possibly being dishonest at times.
Okay. He wasn't so dishonest that you had kids with him, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to say that. And that is a little disheartening because I've experienced that too. All of a sudden, you're the boogeyman. All of a sudden, you're a bad guy. Again, this is supposed to be about children. This is supposed to be about their well-being. What does him needing to get his own property out of her home have to do with child support?
Correct.
But a picture
What does that have to do with anything with the child itself? Not just child support.
is being painted by her and her lawyer that this guy is dangerous or
Yep.
manipulative, and she is so in fear that she needs a police officer at her home when he comes to pick his stuff up. What in the world does that have to do with child support? Serious question. It has absolutely nothing to do with child support. So don't be this type of co-parent when you get in front of the judge. Keep it about the children, but understand whether you're a man or a woman, your co-parent might try to throw one of these in there to sway, because ultimately the judge is a human. The judge isn't a
Yep.
robot. I don't know if that day will ever come either. Hopefully it doesn't, where ChatGPT is the judge and the jury.
Wow, that would be bad.
Because in family court, I think a human does a good job of best understanding. Again, let's keep this about the kids. But hey, a human is a human. You can't sway their opinion. So very interesting. So we understand mom's get down and how she's getting down. Ultimately, she wants child support, even though she knows he has more kids. In here, mom admits she makes $90,000 a year.
That's
Dad
good enough.
admits he's now working for himself. He makes far less than that. So let's see what happens.
I was pregnant with twins. I was very hormonal. I was put in a distressed state, and I was not. There was a lot that had gone on where, looking back, and knowing my hormones where they were at, other decisions would have been made if hormones and pregnancy was not played a role in that.
So, ma'am, is that a yes?
Okay, we got to rewind it a little bit. We got to rewind it just a little bit.
So I don't know how that would be an option. It will be available. I've been in close contact with one daycare specifically, and I'm hoping that they will have a full-time spot. If unavailable, my family has been more than willing to step in and help watch the kids during business hours, so I am able to still have my job and have a career.
So I saw the comments down below about childcare and like these daycares. So apparently you still have to pay even though your child doesn't go, or else you lose your spot in the daycare. How is this not a racket? The racket of take mothers out of the home, force families to pay for childcare, exorbitant amounts of childcare, and you force them to pay no matter what. You just literally taxed two people and created a whole new set of income for another set of people to tax over the exact same, like, one family unit, technically. That is crazy.
But that is always, the last option if they do not have daycare available.
And so if they don't have daycare available and AJ is able to rearrange his schedule, then that would be an option as well, correct?
Well, so he just said
That sounds like, can they never just answer the question? It was that correct? The correct would be yes or a no. And then she goes about,
he doesn't have the kids. He works all these extra hours. So I don't know how that would be an option.
But if he could arrange his schedule to where he
I
was
would be
available,
more than willing to co-parent, absolutely, and discuss the arrangement with the kids when that time comes. Yes.
you're willing to discuss it, or that would be
oh, the lawyer's really good.
a good arrangement for the kids to have a parent caring for them if they didn't have daycare available.
I would 100% agree with the lawyer.
Yes, that would be fine at times.
At times, they always add that little caveat. Yes, at times, or yes, but
At times, what does that mean?
Okay, so what's going on here is mom is this is the coming to Jesus moment. Dad's lawyer is doing a great job of unraveling mom at the seams. I can't speak to the character of these people because I don't know them, and that would be wrong. But
well, Kev, I'm gonna speak to the character of this mom. 304.
Parents are presenting themselves in this single-handed video. So this isn't the overall picture. It's just what we're seeing. Mom seems to be the type of person who uses manipulation tactics. Why am I saying that? Because mom can't give a solid answer right now. She's writing down notes. She's looking left and right. She seems pretty unsure of herself. Even her lawyer seems to be looking at mom, wondering what is it that she's writing down, or what is she trying to get at here? Whereas the father's lawyer is just asking a simple question. If he can rearrange his schedule, is that going to be enough to fulfill the needs of the children per the co-parenting decree? Mom is
maybe
saying yes, maybe, no. It's getting muddled here.
I mean, AJ and I have talked when our kids were younger, and we both agreed for the development of the children that it's best that they be around kids their age. They play they interact, that type of thing. So it's always best that they are around other children so they can develop and grow like they should be.
Okay, but this whole scenario was if you did not have daycare available, then
Yes.
Jay would be,
If there's no daycare available, then there's no other option but to give it to the other parent in a sense. Wouldn't that be the best option possible, considering that parent is more than willing to adjust his schedule and take care of the kids?
an appropriate substitute to care for the children rather than daycare. If you didn't
If
have,
Or I will take the day off. That's happened before.
okay.
The judges looked at it like, wait, what?
Okay, so check this out. It's totally possible that mom took a day off from work once, ever, and now she is going to reaffirm it as if it is an ongoing thing. This is something that we see regularly in family court. Anything and everything you say and or do can and will be used against you, not just in criminal court, but in family court. So be very cognizant while you are co-parenting that you are following your co-parenting agreement to the letter.
You testified about a PFA that you obtained in September of 22.
Yes.
And after the PFA, did you resume your relationship with AJ?
Yes.
Okay, so you lived together, resumed your romantic relationship, and did so until approximately March of 24.
Yes.
So you couldn't have been too concerned about his temper after that PFA. If you got
Good
back
point.
together with him and you resumed your relationship, right?
Good point.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was pregnant with twins. I was very hormonal. I was put in a distressed state, and I was not, there was a lot that had gone on where, looking back, and knowing my hormones where they were at, other decisions would have been made if hormones and pregnancy was not played a role in that.
Okay.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. So, okay, I gotta go full screen on this. I gotta go full screen. This is more insidious than I thought it was.
Yep.
This is kind of crazy. Men, fellas, guys, Vinark MP, we don't hate women. We don't. We are just sharing our experiences so we can be better equipped to handle family court.
This is what I say. We love women. We love them to such a degree that we hurt ourselves and put ourselves through the coals, through the fire almost every time when it comes to women. It really shows how much we do love and care for women. But it doesn't mean that we have to love everything they do.
And fight for custody of our children, or the right to be in our children's lives. This is a prime example of gaslighting. This is a prime example of somebody who would maybe, I can't say for sure, this is all suspected. I don't know these people. Got to give them the benefit of the doubt. But this is mom's attempt at starting parental alienation. She keeps saying things like he's got a temper. Dad's lawyer did a wonderful job, a wonderful short expose of saying, well, you claim he had a temper at this time, then you got back together and started living together.
Mm-hmm.
And mom is over here saying, yeah, but any issue that we had was due to his temper, and any bad behavior on my part was because I was hormonal and pregnant at the time.
Pretty much
No
what she
accountability
said.
whatsoever. Just throw him under the bus, make him look as bad as possible, collect child support, pass go. It's a cold game, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cold game. This isn't to say stay away from women. That's illogical because biology is going to say that that's not possible. It's not going to happen. But do make sure that when you make that commitment to have a child with somebody, she should be so qualified to be a wife and a mother.
I agree. Don't stick it in women that you don't think are going to qualify for those things.
That it's like without the shadow of a doubt. But things like lack of accountability, will come back to bite you. It will come back to bite you, guys. My goodness. All right, let's jump back into it.
So, ma'am, is that a yes?
So yes, we obviously continued our relationship past that point.
And hormones could very well have been a factor in you filing that PFA, isn't that right?
Absolutely not. He attempted to punch right next to my head and broke a cabinet. That was very black and white to me. That was not hormonal.
Okay. But then after that occurred, you resumed your relationship. You got back together, right?
It was months later after our boys were born.
Okay, but you did, right?
Yes.
So you were pregnant, scared for your life, filed that, and then once the kids were born, all of a sudden you got back together. Yeah, it didn't seem like the man was that dangerous.
I didn't understand your testimony about the personal property, ma'am. Do you agree that AJ can get his clothing?
Yes, I think absolutely he has the right to get his clothing and that type of thing.
And do you agree that he can have the clothing that belongs to his older 3 daughters?
Yes.
And do you agree that he can have the mower?
So that's something, we talked about it, or he mentioned, it's hard to determine what was, bought because supposedly everything was together. So
Are you gonna mow the lawn? The man wants the mower so he can mow some lawns.
what the understanding was, that mower was purchased while we were together. So now the mower is his, but the other belonging that I bought and I provided during the relationship is supposedly ours.
So answer the question, can he get the mower or not?
Right?
This happens a lot in family court settings. There is
Dude, bro, this doesn't just happen in family court. This happens all the time on the internet when it comes to women trying to hold women accountable.
a lot of, it's not even miscommunication. Sometimes it's just a lot of redirection going on to make things more confusing than they have to be. Here's a secret. Judges don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't do that in family court.
So, ma'am,
This judge has not said a single word, which I am very surprised.
understand that I'm just talking about who gets to use these items during the process of this case, not who ultimately owns them. You understand that?
Okay.
Okay, so do you agree that AJ can use the mower?
Yes.
Okay, and what about the trimmer
Yes, that's fine.
and the sprayer?
This man sounds like he's a gardener or a landscaper. It seems like those are his tools for work.
Okay, so it looks like AJ has a landscaping business, so that's why these items are so
Dude, me and Kevin are just like right on it with each other. That's why my brother from another mother, man.
important. And
I was
this is
wondering
why making sure you have the right spouse in your life is so important, because one slip up leading to one person no longer being happy can really affect men. It could really affect your whole life. It really, really, really can. So, okay, let's get to the judge and see how he feels about this situation. Here we go.
Time that he is getting. I think it's pretty drastic to go to week from what has been going on. Traditionally, she has been the primary caregiver, but that's when they were together, and that was the roles they fell into. Now that they're separated, he has the opportunity to step up. We need to come up with a plan that gives him more time.
Nice.
I'm leery to go from these twins who've spent the bulk of their time with being cared for by mom to suddenly spending a whole week away. That just seems drastic.
That seems fair. Yeah. That's actually a pretty fair assessment of things by the judge.
Can the parties work on another plan to do that? Can we do a 2-2-3? Can we do some other modified plan?
Absolutely.
I don't think it would be healthy to suddenly switch week to week. I think the boys are too young for that.
That's fine, Your Honor. And that Our proposal was week to week with mom having, like on dad's week, mom would have an overnight, like middle of the week. So like basically dad's week, mom would have Wednesday overnight, mom's week, dad would have Wednesday overnight. But that being said, we're open to whatever schedule the court thinks is more appropriate.
See, father's side, always open to whatever's available. I just want time with my kids. Let's see what the mother side says.
We'd be fine with a 223 or some other modification of that.
Okay, so dad's attorney is still doing a great job of making sure everything stays in place. He doesn't want to lose custody time. He wants to either maintain what he has or get more. So shout out to dad and his attorney for doing that. We're going to fast forward a little bit more here and just see what the ruling ends up being here at the end, because what are the facts here? Again, we never bash women here on Vinark MP, but the facts in this case in particular are: mom has thrown him under the bus. Mom has said that he's temperamental. Mom has said that he's violent. Mom said that she's afraid of him. Mom also says that she admits that when he met her, he had 3 other children, but she still wants to put him on child support and she wants additional custody. So that's a trick bag a lot of guys don't know about. The parent who has more physical hours with the child, can technically on paper request child support. But remember what we talked about in the last video: waking hours versus sleeping hours. It does not matter. If all the hours that you have your child, she is asleep or he is in school, it doesn't matter. Even though you're not with them.
That's so stupid, I guess. Like, if they're in school, those are still considered your hours. I don't know. The court system is just weird. They need a better system about
those
it.
hours are counted as custodial hours. So don't fall for that trick bag. All right, let's see what the judge rules.
So I can put something in writing and send it to Mr. Hoffman to see if it would work for them.
Yeah. But eventually we will work up to that.
How about the sleeping arrangements? Are they going to continue as they have?
Well, the testimony is that he's basically living in a 3-bedroom house. I think he's gonna have to convert that quote office into a bedroom. He's gonna have to get, some permanent beds in there.
And he will, Your Honor. He's willing to get cribs for the boys, and we'll make the sleeping arrangements work.
So work towards that. As for the child support, Mr. Hoffman, you will produce that information to Ms. Park, but assuming the witnesses have been honest here today, I have no reason to believe they haven't been. She earns, the 90,000 a year. He's earning about 38,000 a year. As I told you in your other hearing, Mr. Garcia, you're the one who chose to go to the working for yourself, and you greatly reduced your income. And the reason you're turning it over quarterly is to see if you're making progress.
Yes.
At some point, if you're not making progress, I assume several of these adverse parties to you are going to claim you have artificially lowered your income.
Yes, sir.
By going to.
So ultimately, let me jump back in here and explain that to you guys. If you're in family court and you're making, let's say, $60,000 a year, $70,000 a year, $150,000 a year, and then you get family court and your co-parent, and remember this works for men and women, but in this situation it's a man, his ex-wife in this situation, well, they never say whether or not they were married, but they were in a relationship together and had children together. She's demanding more custody and more child support. The judge is pretty much saying how convenient you started a business and working for yourself at that time. If you don't start making more money, I'm going to have no choice but to believe that you artificially lowered your income. So you wouldn't be forced to pay child support or a certain dollar amount, which could result in an adverse reaction of the judge saying, we're still going to put you on child support because you intentionally did this. Mm-hmm. So, that's never recommended. Again, we went over the financial affidavit. You never want to lie on that. But the judge is doing a great job of taking his word for it and believing it at face value. Mom makes $90,000 a year. Dad makes $38,000 a year. Mom wants more custody so she can get more child support, and it doesn't look like the judge is going to give it to him. So let's see what happens.
To work for yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you've got a lot on your hands now. You've got 7 kids,
Yes, sir.
okay,
It's a lot.
and they need to be supported.
Yes, sir.
The worksheet needs to be prepared, giving her credit for the $500 a week she's paying for childcare and for what she's paying for the insurance. And I still haven't got that information, but you two, the attorneys, can share that information on how much is being paid for insurance.
Okay.
She needs to receive credit for the childcare.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing because that's pretty much the nutshell of what happens in this case. So what did we learn? Number one, don't be having too many kids because it is expensive out here.
Too.
But of course, as the Bible tells us, children are, what does it say? Children are an inheritance from the Lord. So, children are beautiful. But, the book of Deuteronomy also tells us that money is a defense. So money is very important. Ultimately, this is a great example of how, for the men out there, remember the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. That doesn't mean you find a chick and you turn her into a wife. That means you find a woman who has the characteristics of a wife, a Proverbs 31 woman. We could get into the Bible and stuff like that, but let's just keep it a buck. Be very careful who you had kids with, man.
Shout outs to my brother Kevin out there trying to do his thing. Father's rights. He went through the ringer, guys. Again, if you guys want to watch the interview, just between his story of his ex-wife, his daughter, his new wife, pretty much from when he was a simp to what he is now. It's on Chow Time 2.0.